According to all known laws of aviation, there's no way a bee should be able to fly. Its wings are too small to get its fat little body off the ground. The bee, of course, flies anyway. Because bees don't care what humans think is impossible.
My name is Zach Kyle. I'm here with Don Nugent and Matthew McNeil. We're going to discuss a very controversial topic today. We'll be discussing the Bee Movie. One of, in my opinion, the worst possible movies you could ever show your children.
It's one of the best movies ever created, an instant cult classic.
I'm on a neutral stance, so I think it has its ups and downs.
All right, Don can't talk anymore.
Agreed.
You have to take a position on something. So Matt's going to give you a quick synopsis of the Bee Movie. So Matt, you want to go ahead and take that away?
So the Bee Movie starts with Jerry Seinfeld playing Barry B. Benson.
Terrible name if you ask me.
It's a great name. Now, it starts with him recently coming out of college. Now, Barry B. Benson doesn't really have any aspirations in life. He doesn't really know what he wants to do, which is highly relatable to most people. I'd say Don, for example. But after he gets out of college, they show him around jobs, and he realizes that bees only have such a short life, and that his life is probably not going to amount to anything at all. With this realization in mind, he joins the military like any sensible person. And while out on the military, he gets separated from his squad and is forced to spend a day in a human house, which is extremely scary from the bee's standpoint. Now, in the human house, he creates what you could call a friend with the female human, and kind of releases the information that bees can speak to humans. And this bond between bee and human grows and grows until Barry stumbles upon what is manufactured honey. And with this manufactured honey, Barry kind of goes a bit crazy because he's seeing the bee's primary export being consumed and being contained by humans. And with this, he goes on a long journey to try to ban humans through courts and lawyers and stuff like that, to ban humans from using bees as basically slave labor in this sense. And it kind of gets to a point where the world stops functioning, plants aren't growing because bees are overproducing honey, and they don't have so much honey going around that they don't barely need to work anymore. And since bees don't need to work anymore, the world starts to collapse. It kind of goes into a dystopian future, really, with entire food shortages, and this all comes together in the end with a beautiful moment where the bees come together and start collaborating with the humans, and it ends on a very happy note. Something I would recommend to every child and parent alike.
I have to agree. The vibrant colors and really nice design of everything and the nice animation really caught my attention as a 10-year-old.
So, I want to address a couple things you just said, Matthew. One, you think it's a touching tale for children everywhere to watch. There's a relationship between a woman and a bee. What are you talking about? You trying to make furries? Yeah, that's what I thought. Also, I want to address the military thing. So if you watch the movie, there's one particular scene in which Barry is joining the military. Now, for an American company, I personally can't believe they got away with this. They have these medals of honor that soldiers wear for being a U.S. Air Force Marshal or pilot on bees. And the commander of the bee army is this old, grizzled bee that apparently has been through so many wars. Personally, I find this very disrespectful to the entire culture of the United States and the military in general. It is bringing so much dishonor on the military of the United States by comparing it to bees.
Okay, so I understand where Zach is coming from, and I can kind of see why Matt really likes the Bee Movie. But you have to think like, this movie is made for the younger audience. So like, who are we to critique it in such a way? We got to think about like the message it's trying to convey to us. In the first quote of the movie is, "In all known laws of aviation, the bee should not be able to fly." But the bee flies anyways, because it doesn't care what the humans think. This movie is teaching kids that nothing is impossible. Barry can make sexual relationships with a human, even though it's told it's impossible, and he can save his own people as well. He even lifted a plane out of the sky and landed it. The Bee Movie is trying to help kids pursue their dreams and teach them that nothing is impossible, and don't let anybody tell you that it is.
Alright, now what we have to address is that you made some very good points about the relationship between Barry and Vanessa. I wouldn't say it's a very sexual relationship, it's more of a relationship between friends. Yes, there are innuendos, but those are for the adults watching. The kids will never pick up on these relationship between the bee and the human. And we need the bees to act more like humans so that it's familiarity for the kids to understand. We can't have bees act like actual bees because nobody would understand what the bee is doing. Now we need bees to act more like our society, and with the bees acting more like our society, we can have that society interact with the actual human society, and having a human be part of the main cast is essentially important for kids to project themselves, not really project themselves, but to understand what's going on and see that this is more like the world they inhabit. And within that, there is the whole crux of the Bee Movie, the reason why it stays together, and that's the comedy. The comedy in the Bee Movie is great. It is some of the most hilarious things I've ever heard from a movie, and it isn't necessarily a comedy strictly, but the comedy just holds it together, thanks to legendary comedian Jerry Seinfeld, one of the greatest comedians I've ever heard.
I'll give it to you. It's a good comedy. But you made the point, if the bees act more like humans, then kids will understand it. Well, yeah, but if a rock acted like a human, kids would understand rocks too. There's no point in having a bee act like a human. Bees sting you. Remember when Barry's friend stung that guy and then he almost died and they put the plastic sword in his ass? It was weird. There's no point for that scene to be there. The only thing it does is break this whole persona that they have built up for the bees acting like humans. It's just reminding kids that these bees are dangerous and can sting them if they piss them off. If you really wanted this movie to be good, then sure, you can have a group of bees acting like humans, but you also have to have that anti-group acting like bees where they're just trying to sting people so that kids can still learn that lesson that bees are dangerous and that bees can possibly hurt them, especially if, God forbid, someone has an anaphylactic reaction to the bee sting. So, yeah, as a comedy it's okay, but that's mainly because Jerry Seinfeld. There's no actual comedic value to the movie. Jerry Seinfeld is inherently comedic. There's nothing to do with the script he's reading, the part he's portraying. Jerry Seinfeld is comedic, and you can't argue me on that one.
Alright.
Zach was right with what he was saying, and I can totally understand that, but with the example of the friend stinging the human, yeah, bees are dangerous, but I believe what they're trying to show us is that bees have emotions too. And just like in real life and in the movie, bees only sting when they're provoked. And we said a lot of facts about why it's good and why it's bad, but let's look at the true facts. The Bee Movie has a 50% on Rotten Tomato, and I think a 6.1 on IMDb, whatever the fuck. Alright? So I think we can all agree that it's not bad or good, but it's a decent movie.
I can agree with that.
Fine, yeah. I'll agree with that.
This has been How Not to Review a Bad, Okay Movie by Zach Heil.
Don Nguyen.
Richard McNeil.
Matthew?
Yes, I'm here. What?
Matthew McNeil.
Yeah, my name's Matt.
Not Richard McNeil. So, this has been How Not to Review a Bad Movie. Please don't take any tips from us. We don't actually know anything about movies.
I have 5% in my media study course.